This is Snake. Can you hear me? Good. The mission is simple. Put your geek pants on and infiltrate Foxhound. If you need backup, contact Ken and Chris on their codec frequency. Ready? Snake out.
On three then?
Wait, on three or after three?
On three.
On three?
One, 2, 3.
Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!
Yeah! Geek Pantsers!
Surprise! October 30th. This is our Crow episode.
Happy Devil's Night! We thought it was appropriate to do the 25th anniversary of The Crow.
Yes.
On Devil's Night, because the movie takes place almost entirely on Devil's Night.
Yep. That is true.
It is true.
It happens, and then jumps 1 year later.
So, I gotta say, it has been quite some time since I watched this movie.
And you rewatched it before this?
I have rewatched it before this.
Right.
In fact, I watched it last night.
Ah.
Yes. I was gonna do one of the other movies we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided, you know what? It's been too long, so I'm gonna watch it. And right away, right out of the gates, if you would have said, "Hey, Chris, do you like the movie Crow?" I would have said, "Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies." But right out of the gates, I forgot how much I like this movie.
Yeah.
I also forgot how well done this movie is.
It's fantastic.
Like, I mean, across the board. So we're talking, like, how well is it shot? It's beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
They made the most of their budget.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Second of all, the story itself, like how it was written, there is not one wasted thing in here. There's stuff that gets, like, dropped in the beginning of the movie that gets seeded later on, and you're just like, Christ! Like, the attention to detail is phenomenal. Everyone in it is great, too.
Oh, entire cast is amazing.
Entire cast is amazing.
Like, I watched it again a couple nights ago, but I've seen it lots over the years.
I've seen it lots over the years, too. Like, it was one of those where, like, I say I forgot how much I loved it, but as I was watching it, I was, like, going along with the dialogue.
Yeah,
because I watched it so many times.
Because it's so quotable.
It is so quotable, and it's fucking hilarious. So you think, like, that's one of those, like a million quotes
so much,
movies.
Like, I wrote a couple down. A couple of my favorites, because as I was watching, obviously Can't Rain All the Time.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
Exactly.
Love that. Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever.
Yeah.
Beautiful way to
That's
end
a great way. I also, what is it? Mother is the word for God on the lips and hearts of children everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, I still, to this day, I think that's one of the best lines ever, because it's so true.
Mm.
It's so true.
Victims, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Fire it up.
Of course, fired up.
It's so damn good.
Or even where he's like, T-Bird is quoting the Devil's Bible.
Yes.
You know? And then he's doing that, and the devil looked and saw how awful goodness was. And you're like, oh my god, like, this is crazy. Just so many awesome quotes. But yeah, so, like, dialogue is phenomenal.
It's probably, like, some of the best dialogue of any comic book movie ever.
It's also one of the best comic book movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it's easily in my top 10 still.
Frequently cite Spider-Man 2, but this one is up there because, like, it takes the source material, and in my opinion, I feel like it elevates the source material.
Me too. Because I read the 3 issues after it.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Yeah, I read James O'Barr's original.
Oh no, sorry, yeah.
Mini.
I misunderstood what you meant.
After the movie.
Because I did the same thing when you got it.
Yeah.
I ended up reading it because you got it.
Yeah.
And while I really liked the art style.
Very cool art style, kind of like Kevin Eastman TMNT, like that real sketchy dark.
Yeah,
lines.
but also kind of like early David Mack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
His first Kabuki book.
Yeah, exactly. Very much, or at least you could see the inspiration, I guess, in terms of art style. But yeah, exactly. Very much like Kevin Eastman or Peter Laird or whoever was the artist, and very much that inspired. But one thing that I gotta say though, like in terms of the way the story is done, like in the book, Top Dollar is killed off. I think he's one of the first that gets killed off.
Yeah. He's
like,
not
either
around.
first or second.
And in this, they switch it up. They make him like this big bad.
But I
for the
love
whole
how they
movie.
make him the final boss character, because really that's what he is. Top Dollar should be the final
top.
boss.
Yeah.
You know.
And Michael Wincott was so great in that role.
Yeah, but come on, man.
And that guy had like that. What was it, like a trifecta of awesome movies around that time? Because he did Metro.
Yeah, but Metro was a little bit later. Wasn't it 99?
97.
Or okay.
So
No, that's
it's,
true.
it's a
That's
few years
true.
later, and then a few years before.
But this is also before actors did 5 movies a year.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah.
And then a couple years before this, he did the Three Musketeers, the Disney Three Musketeers.
Oh yeah, that's
He's
right.
a bad guy in that.
I've always liked him.
He's always been a really good actor.
And
A
it's
really
because
great
of this
bad
movie
guy.
that I've always liked him.
Exactly.
But the director, I actually was because I was like, you know what? Like I never really do enough of the director stuff. So of course I promptly forgot the director's name. But I didn't realize that he also did Dark City.
It's the Dark City director, yes.
And then he did a couple of other movies.
Yeah, he kind of went downhill after Dark City, but
I don't think he went downhill. I just think that
well, he did Knowing with Nicolas Cage.
that was like the last. But I think that was a studio thing.
His last movie though was honestly garbage, and that was Gods of Egypt.
Oh yes, I never even watched that.
Because I watched it
because I
it
saw the
really,
list and I went, oh man, I didn't realize
Yeah.
he did Dark City. And then I was like, okay, well you can kind of see like Dark City into The Crow, that visual.
Yeah, he kept that dark gothic.
Yeah, very much gothic.
Yeah.
And but then Gods of Egypt members like, oh yeah, no.
Like the trailers look bad, but I still give it a chance because I'm like, well, it's Alex Proyas. Like even Knowing wasn't too bad. It's not as good, remotely as good as The Crow or Dark City, but it was still pretty decent. Like it was right like in between time when Nick Cage was like doing the big movies and then kind of dipping into the B stuff.
I also feel like this is the kind of movie where I'm glad it was made when it was.
Yeah, I don't think it could be made today, but it wouldn't be nearly.
Well, even
the same.
like the last guy that was going to do it, Northington or Worthington or whatever, Norrington.
Norrington.
Yeah, Norrington. He was saying that like his would be sort of like grounded in like a realistic take on this, and almost kind of cyberpunk kind of thing.
But this seems realistic, like.
But that's what I was gonna say was like.
Other than him having quick healing, everything feels very real in the movie.
Yeah, nothing about this feels fake. It actually feels
and I think
weird around him.
Exactly.
Like, because he's there, that's what fucks everything up. Because he shows up.
Yeah.
You know, and like even the practical effects. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but like I agree. So I'm also thinking to myself like, okay, so you're saying about you want to do like a gritty, realistic reboot for it, but you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Like this one was as gritty as it gets. It was only like with City of Angels where I felt like it got a little bit more fantastical.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like if they did this again today, it would be too flashy. It'd be too Hollywood flashy.
And that's
City
kind of my
Angels
point where
was like that.
It came at the perfect time because I honestly feel like, you know, because The Crow had a lot of buzz, like huge buzz on the indie scene. You know, and it was one of those top top dog indie books.
It was getting buzz before Brendan Lee even passed.
Exactly. So then the studio was like, okay, well, you know, here's the budget. I don't even remember what the budget was. I didn't even look because I was like, I don't care. And they got Brandon Lee on, which was a get to play the role, but it wasn't like it was this huge thing where people were like,
this was like
holy fuck!
I was looking at his like filmography before he passed. I think this is like only his third American film.
Yeah, something like that. Was it like Rapid Fire was
Rapid
his first?
Fire, and then no, that was his second. His first was that Tokyo Showdown or
oh yes, yes, that's right. Yeah. I never watched that one. I watched Rapid Fire.
Yeah,
Rapid Fire's pretty good. Like as far as
yeah, I watched all of them.
Yeah,
afterwards.
Yeah, the Tokyo one I only watched clips of. I caught it like halfway through or whatever. I was like, but and then of course The Crow was amazing. And yeah, it's really sad that that's his last like big role. It's also sad that that's one of the big reasons why it got all this acclaim or not infamy.
The cult following.
Following was because it was his last role. It should be a cult following because it's a phenomenal movie.
It's a phenomenal movie.
You know,
but how often is your last movie that phenomenal too?
Yeah, I guess the only one that I can think of is Dark Knight with Heath Ledger.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Which wasn't even his last movie though,
Oh yeah,
they
that's
did
right.
That Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus,
Yeah,
whatever it was.
but that one I won't count because they blatantly cast other people to fill that role.
Yes. Whereas this
one,
this is amazing. Like, considering '94, they didn't have a lot of tech, so
no,
the fact that they could finish it with his stunt double and then superimpose his face over top.
Exactly, but I don't think they did it that much though.
It's only one or two like quick clips.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
the only other part that I think I honestly believe that it wasn't him was the scene where Shelley's in their old apartment and she's basically saying like, "Hey, like I know it's you, you know, it can't rain all the time. That was in one of your songs." And then finally it's like, "Okay, well, like I miss you guys. I miss Shelley, you know."
Yeah.
And then finally, like as she's leaving, he shows up and they just show like the bright light with that like circular window. And you don't see his face. And
No,
I think
it's shadowed out.
Yeah, it's all shadowed out, and I think that's one of the few where they didn't have to do that.
Well, it was right at the end. Like, I always thought, well, growing up, we didn't have internet or anything.
Right.
So it was all rumors of what happened.
Yeah,
You got little
exactly.
interviews here and there. I always thought it was the big gunfight where he died. Because it was.
That's what I always thought too.
A piece of the cap, like the cap or something broke off.
Piece of the fake bullet. Like I guess at the time, the way they did fakes was that they were almost fake, but there was just a bit of it that was real, and that littlest bit came off and hit him, and that's what killed him.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was in the big shootout.
But it isn't. It's the flashbacks where she's getting raped and he's getting killed in the apartment.
Oh wow!
And Funboy, apparently, because I read this last night, Funboy, the guy that played Funboy,
yeah,
he had a gun in a bag. And he pointed it and he shot. But back then they wanted it to look really good and flashy, so they put like this little powder stuff in there, like explosive powder. So when he shot the fake, that powder broke the fake.
Oh, geez.
Shot a shard into him.
Wow.
They cut that out completely.
Obviously.
Like they took the gun doesn't appear in that scene at all anymore.
Obviously.
But
still,
that's where it
wow.
happened.
Huh.
Just a fluke. Like, I'm sure they did that hundreds and hundreds of times before.
Well, that's what it was. It was
right?
one of those, like, we've done this countless times. And
then it's almost like, it's like a curse of the Lee family kind of thing, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that one. Because they died at the same age.
Bruce died, same age, and Bruce dies on set, too, right?
No, he didn't die on set.
I thought he died on set.
No, he died at a friend's place.
Oh, I swore I read he died on set. Okay.
Well, you're wrong.
I am wrong.
Yes.
You would know.
I would know.
You follow Bruce.
I would know. I mean, I will say this. It's possible that I am wrong, but I'm not.
Okay, I'm just gonna believe you. I could pick up the phone and look, but I believe you because you know your martial
I'm not
arts.
even looking at the phone.
I know you're not. It's over there.
Yeah, but
If you were, that'd be
okay.
impressive.
So what do we got here? So yeah, okay.
So
the list here. So from what I've seen from Brandon Lee, I liked Brandon Lee.
I like Brandon Lee.
I liked his acting.
Yep.
But one of the things that always stuck with me afterwards, you know, when you watch like old interviews and stuff like that, was that like he went like when he first kind of was looking at the character and he was thinking like, okay, well, I was just kind of thinking of playing this like a straight up like a good guy type of thing, and then I just kind of thought, well, like if I'm dead and I come back to life, that's gonna mess me up. So I'm not gonna, like, I'm gonna be off the wall a little bit. So all these little things that he's doing, like, where he's almost, like, madcap but not over the top with it, was perfect.
Yeah.
Because it was just enough where, like the part where Funboy, he's like, literally, I give you this. You got me. Blows that hole through his hand, and he's just like, oh, and then closes up. I was just like, that's perfect. But it wasn't so over the top like The Mask, right?
Right.
You know? And of course, nothing wrong with The Mask being over the top. Unless you've read the comic books. If you read the comic books, it's a little bit more Deadpool and a lot less slapstick. But, although it's funny, I listed off Madcap and Slapstick, which are both goofball cartoon characters. Or comic book characters, so yeah, I'm a geek. But the other thing that I really, really liked about his portrayal, and I don't think I noticed it the last time I watched it, was, and I think it's maybe because I'm watching movies now more like with this kind of thought process in mind, is he's playing this character with an inherent sadness to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, this is, like, he's got a righteous crusade, but he's not like, yeah, I'm gonna right these wrongs and send these guys to hell.
Yep.
This is a guy that came back from the dead for the sole purpose of crossing over so that he can be with Shelley. And it's sad because he's not with her now, and he hasn't been with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, like, just those little things were, like, the conversations with Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, fantastic. You know? Every scene they share in that movie is just amazing.
You know what I mean? Like, even just that whole, like,
when he goes, Freezer, you're dead. Well, then I say I'm dead, and or what?
No, he's like, don't move. And he goes, I thought the cops always said freeze.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I'm a cop, and I say don't move. And he goes... Or he goes, don't move or you're dead.
Or you're dead. Well, then I say
I'm
I'm
dead,
and I move.
And I'm like, man, that's awesome.
So good.
That's so good. But even, like, well, like I was saying, like, the thought process they put into this, I love even just when he's in the pawn shop and he's looking for the rings. And he's not even, like, his eyes are closed and he's just, like, throwing, and then all of a sudden it's just, he feels it. That's her ring. I was like, that's awesome. I love when Gideon pushes just enough, and finally he just, like, okay, takes the shotgun, dumps all the other rings in the shotgun to fire at Gideon, and then blows the whole place up.
All these, like, represent
that's
life
awesome.
That
but, like I was saying about the sadness, like, when he's in the apartment talking with...
Ernie Hudson?
Yeah, I think it's Albrecht?
Albrecht, yeah.
Albrecht,
He grabs his head and then sees all the memories
but
of
even
her
before that, he was just like, he wasn't like, back from the dead.
No.
It was just like, so, like, you just, God, like, you felt for him. You know what I mean?
So, like, he acted his ass off in this. This was the first movie I saw with Brandon Lee. Because, I mean, he only did 4, I think, in total before this. The 2 Americans and then a couple
I think so, yeah. I think you're right. This was the first movie I ever saw Brandon Lee in all the way through. I had seen the actual climax of Rapid Fire.
Okay.
But it was just like one of those, like, you know when you hang out at your aunts and uncles or whatever, and they got movie channels.
Yep.
And so you're just kind of flipping, and all of a sudden you just see it. So all I saw was this scene where the big bad guy's got the hooks, and Brandon Lee, like, makes it so that he's hooked onto the rail.
Okay, yeah.
And then, like, just electrocutes himself. So I saw a couple of, like, Brandon Lee kicks. I didn't know it was Brandon Lee. I didn't know it all until later, right? But yeah, so this was the first full movie that I had seen all the way through. Instantly fell in love with it. Like, instantly fell in love with it.
We watched this together, right?
Yeah, we watched this together.
I had the video at the movie store, my parents' store.
We watched this together. So you and I watched it for the first time together. And then you also bought one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Because this is still, like...
This is the movie that got me into so much of the music I love today.
Exactly, like me too.
Like, I hadn't heard 9 Inch Nails, or The Cure, or Stone Temple Pilots. Like, I back then I was listening to freaking, like, country and MC Hammer.
Whatever your parents were listening to, whatever's on the radio.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, and I agree, like, this was one of those movies where... Like, I was a little bit different because I was already starting to listen to, like, Nirvana.
Yeah.
And Green Day and Rancid and stuff like that. But not so much Rancid. Rancid was a little bit later, more high school. But still, I was not ready for that kind of music. So when I heard that, and that soundtrack, like, front to back is amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
What is there? Filters on there, I believe? I wanted to look that up, and I just didn't, because I'm lazy.
It might be. Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against, like, this, it's an
and
amazing
I
album.
forget her name, but the woman that does the It Can't Rain All the Time song. That's such a haunting, beautiful song. Like, when it kicks in at the end credits of this movie.
Oh, man.
And then it actually says, for Brandon and Alexa or Erica, or his real girlfriend's name.
I don't know.
But they don't just dedicate to him, they dedicate to his girlfriend, too.
Yeah.
Because this is such an amazing love story. Like, it's not just a gothic thriller comic book adaptation. It's a love story.
And I think that's one of those things where we're going to lose that in the eventual reboot.
Yeah.
Eventually someone's going to bring a pitch to the studios and they're going to go, yeah, fucking rights.
Well, James O'Barr, he wants to do it. He's like, it's not going to be like the Brandon Lee movie. It's going to be more my comic brought to life. And I kind of feel for him
I feel for him too.
Because the crow is his, and now it's Brandon Lee's. I feel like Brandon's legacy is kind of taken.
But I also think that the one of the dumbest things they ever did was with the sequel, where they didn't mine other of the books.
I know, he's got so many books.
Because, it's... Eric Draven is the most popular version of the Crow.
Yeah.
But there's other versions. There's a female Crow. There's a Native American Crow.
I wrote a screenplay on that.
Yeah.
Cry of the Crow.
Exactly.
And I put all my own stuff in there, but I based it completely off his work.
Yeah.
Because I read that because Alex Proyas did the art on it. James O'Barr wrote it.
That's right. And I remember just being like, there's a lot of really cool stuff here that you could take one of those and do the same thing that they did with this script, and they changed the story a bit.
Yep.
Because in the original, I think Eric and Shelley weren't really dating at the time. They were just kind of she was getting raped and he had come across her. They didn't do any of the housing eviction thing.
That's all adults.
That's all adults. But I even the way it starts right after it happened, and you get those flashes of what had happened.
Like, you meet Ulrich first.
Yeah.
Like, Shelley's on the verge of dying. She's slowly dying.
Yeah.
You meet, Eric's dead already.
Eric's already dead.
Eric's got the body bag already.
You meet Sarah.
Who is such a great young actress.
Yeah.
And then, I looked at her IMDb right after this movie. She didn't do another thing till 2009.
What was 2009?
Just some small little thing.
Because I was just going to say, I don't even think I would have recognized her.
I don't think I would either. That's 15 years later. Yeah. She was probably around 12 or so in the movie.
12, 13 possibly.
Which I think was around our age. I think she was around the same age as us in that movie.
But, that's right. Right at the beginning. It starts off with, right after it happens, and then it starts to piece together everything. But even just, the scene where, the whole sequence where Eric is, come out of the grave, and the crow is leading him to Boots.
Yeah.
And then back to the apartment.
And he's kind of, walking all zombie-like.
He's fucking falling over, and he doesn't quite know what's going on, because let's face it, he's been dead for a year. He's been in the ground for a whole year, so it's not like he just kind of woke up and was like, let's kill some thugs, right?
Yeah.
I can't get over, and Brandon Lee definitely did act his ass off, and it's, the tragic part is, yes, he died, but, I feel like even if he didn't die, this would have still been huge for him.
I think he would have had a career a lot like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, very much so.
Where every few years he would have that big thing that brings him back.
Yeah, I feel the same way, especially because, of course, now he's starting up in Hollywood 30 years later, 30 years after his dad had gone through all that. Yeah. So while I feel like, obviously, there was still racism at play, I think it was a little bit less, obviously, because it wasn't...
Yeah.
Yeah. But, still, just... I really can't say too much about, everything about it, he's on screen, you're watching him. Mm-hmm. You're watching the other characters react to him, but you're watching him. Oh, he's so captivating.
I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was watching it. It's probably been a good 5 years since I watched it last. And man, I felt like I was watching it again for the first time.
Except that you're quoting lines with it. I'm
quoting lines, but I get so emotionally into it. I'm tearing up at times.
Oh yeah.
I'm feeling what this guy's going through.
Yeah, well, because we're both married now, so now we have a context. What would you do, if you were in that scenario, right? And I don't know if you remember, but many, many months ago when you needed your sidewalk stones put back in.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end of the day, and you were like, I think my arms are giving out. And I was like, yeah, but when that happens, pretend you got to save your wife's life. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you think about it, and you're like, ha ha ha. But then you think about it, and you're like, actually, yeah, no, I can do more than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because now it's a context. Now you're like, okay, but this is...
And I pushed myself. I saved my wife's life so many times that day.
Exactly.
And I paid for it greatly for days after.
Yep, exactly.
But it was worth it because she's still alive.
Exactly. She's still alive, and those stones got done many, many months ago.
Many, many months ago.
Almost 6 months ago, you could say.
Yeah.
But, What? But even the fight scenes I thought were really good because like Brandon Lee is like born and raised Jeet Kune Do, like his dad. So obviously his style is his own version of Jeet Kune Do.
Mm-hmm.
What I really liked was that they didn't do a lot of kung fu in this movie.
They really don't.
You know,
it's very hard hitting.
It's more or less like the kind of fighting that you would think that a guy who was basically a rock star would do. Like, I mean, he's in phenomenal shape in this movie.
Like in the alleyway with Tintin right at the beginning there.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was watching it, and I remember parts of that fight, but not like shot for shot kind of thing. And I was actually surprised at the end of it. Like he could throw kicks and flips off walls and everything there.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
And you'd believe it because he's a Crow now.
Yeah.
But they don't. They keep it fairly grounded.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like he's brought back from the dead, but that doesn't mean he's learned all these new abilities.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like one of those where, like, I'm like, again, like, this is something that they thought about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is something that they were like, yeah, Brandon, you could do this, this, and this. He's like, yeah, but why would I? I'm a rock star. Like, I play guitar, right? Yeah, I'm in, like, that rock star shape, but, you know? So it's kind of like you figure, like, Iggy Pop, for instance, because their physiques are very similar, especially because he was in the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well...
That's a bad movie.
That was a bad movie. It was a really bad movie.
It just kept getting worse.
Yeah, because what was it? The Crow Damnation?
The Crow Salvation.
Salvation is the third one.
Salvation was better than City of Angels.
Yeah.
It is the second best of the series.
Yeah, but it's still pretty bad.
And then there's the horrendous Wicked Prayer.
Which I never watched.
Don't ever watch it.
I never watched it because it had
Edward Furlong as the Crow. Tara Reid.
Edward Furlong, and he was in his, like, heavy drug days, too.
Yeah. Like,
and Tara Reid.
Overweight and...
Who was in her...
And David Boreanaz was in it, too. He was the bad guy.
Right.
Angel from Buffy.
I know who he is. You don't have to tell me. He was also in a long-running TV show called Bones.
Bones.
So...
Oh.
Get that in there for you. Yeah, there you go.
Gotta get it all.
But
yeah, awful movie. Awful movie.
Oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah. So,
and then that killed the franchise. So.
Can you say it killed the franchise if it was already direct-to-video at that point? Because the second one was the only other one that was...
Second one's at theaters. Salvation had a limited run in big cities.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But you know you got a death knell movie when they're saying, yeah, well, just certain big cities will show this.
I actually really dug Salvation, though. Like, I don't feel anything for it like I do the original, but I enjoyed watching it. Kirsten Dunst was good in it.
Yeah, I forgot she was in it. I liked watching it at the time. I tried watching it again, and I remember it was the part where they figured out that he was trying to kill, like, the last guy they had to kill was the guy with, like, the fucking weird arrow star or whatever.
Yeah.
So they, like, basically grabbed some guy's arm, did the same thing, and then just kind of threw it, like, as if, like, there you go, you killed it, and then all of a sudden it was like he didn't have any powers anymore type of thing, and it was like, that doesn't make any sense because the Crow would know that that's not the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you might think, okay, yeah, I did it. The Crow wouldn't, you know? And I know they were trying to do the similar thing, like, at the end of the Crow, the original one, because his original goal was T-Bird, Tintin, Skank, and Funboy. You know, that was it. Was that it? Tintin?
Yeah, the
T-Bird?
four.
Yeah. So,
and I guess, well, Gideon, though. Gideon kind of just...
Gideon, he doesn't...
Used as a messenger.
Yeah, so he literally just...
So just the four.
Those are the four. So then later, when he goes to get Sarah back from Top Dollar, he's got no powers. You know, he's now, like, on borrowed time. Like, he gets shot and he's bleeding out.
Yeah, because the Crow was hit.
That too, that's right.
Then Bei Ling...
Yeah.
Wants to, like... I don't know what the fuck she wanted to do.
Take his eyes. She wanted to take his eyes.
She's all obsessed with the eyes. Like, that eyeball in the cup scene is disgusting.
Yeah, but that's another thing, too, where they pay attention to detail. So, like, when you look at their bad guy cave, or, like, the top of the club there.
Yeah.
She says that she really likes eyes. Like, and they introduce her, like, there's the naked chick, and it's just like... well, I think we broke her. You know? Just like nonchalant, like they fucked the shit out of her type of thing. And she's like, I really like her eyes. They're so pretty. And she's got that weird knife about to go to it, right? So then when we see them later again, she's cooking the eyes. And I was like, holy fuck. Like I knew she was cooking eyes, but I, for some reason, didn't put those two together. But the room itself, there's a lot of circles that look like eyes in that whole room. He opens up the door with all the guns and swords and stuff, and it's in a perfect circle. Looks like an eye. I was like, this is insane. That they sat there and said, we need this here.
Yeah.
You know, and he does that speech about like.
He used another character a lot of good lines. It's like T-Bird can't be with us because he's got a case of being dead or something.
No,
what did I say? So along those lines.
He got a case of the deceased, something like that. Because like T-Bird goes, one of my crew got himself perished.
Yeah, I love that. One of my crew got himself perished.
Weird fucking way to say that. But then again, this is the same one where like made it so that when he opens his car door, he's got to squat down to open it up. You know.
Got himself perished.
As far as the deaths go, another thing I really like was so he this is like the Crow's first outing is when he sees Tintin.
Yeah.
So, you know, and is just like boots, pants, shirt, makeup. It looks awesome. Like the original look was crazy cool. So good that when I watched horrible follow-up, City of Angels, and they basically did the same thing, but they extended everything. I remember thinking like, you don't have to do that. You can keep it just like that, you know? Especially because they only hired, was it Vincent Perez? Yeah. Just because he looked like him? Yeah. He didn't even look a lot like him, just enough. Just enough.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, the Tintin where he's watching Tintin through the eyes of the crow.
That's cool.
And then he just free falls into the garbage from the rooftop and then starts laughing when he lands.
Yeah, and then it's just like, Tintin calls him a crackhead, and I remember thinking like, I think that's the first time I ever heard the phrase crackhead. This is like 94. So I didn't know crack was that big, that it was just like, you fucking crackhead, you know? And he's like Halloween isn't until mañana, and you're like, you're such a loser, you know? But they do a great job of setting him up, like even right away when they showed like the rape and murder scenes. So you know T-Bird's the leader. You know Fun Boy just wants to fuck. You know Skank is fucked.
A speed freak.
Like fucked.
Just like going off.
And then of course you got Tintin who's all about the blades, you know? And so they have that, like I said, like we were talking about, the fight scene is really cool. Grounded type of thing, where this is, now he's just kind of realizing that he's got these power, like he's better, like stronger and faster and all that. And then I love when he's just like, I want you to tell me a story about a year ago, and he's going through that thing, and then he's like, like a girl and her husband or whatever, so what? She's like, you raped and murdered. He's like, oh yeah, her, Shelley. Oh, we shagged her pink ass and she loved it. And he's like, fuck this. So he's getting the upper hand. He like, Tintin's beating him up type of thing. And I always like, even now I watch that scene, and like if you're hitting a guy with like a pole, and every time you hit him, he's still getting up. Like, I mean, how many hits do you do before you're like, I just gotta go. Yeah. Like, I gotta run because this guy's gonna get up, and obviously this is hurting him, but not enough to keep him the fuck down. Yeah. You know, but then he gets up and then makes him into a human pincushion, steals his coat.
Steals his coat, yep.
I like that. Like the coat.
And he does crawl on the wall in blood, right?
I think he does. I think you're right.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so another one of those things where if you think about it too much, you kind of go, oh, you had that kind of time?
Oh, he's got the talent. I mean, the Fire Crow?
The Fire Crow, that was good. They're all great. Like,
and that's where it started, too. All the superhero movies after that, they all did their symbols in fire.
But at least with the Crow, you go, he's got fucking supernatural powers. It doesn't have to take him hours. It just takes him like that. Yeah. It just does it. Whereas, like, Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, you actually have to sit there and go, okay, so he got into a fire truck or something, sprayed gasoline,
It got into a fire truck.
in a bat design on the only wall, I guess, the only building that was big enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that way he could light the match that starts the fire that shows everybody that he's back. Couldn't you just kill Bane and get it over with?
The amount of time all that took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably would have been, like, people in Gotham would have knew you were back sooner had you not wasted a week trying to figure out how to get all the logistics in order for you to be able to have one 30-second, I don't even think it's 30 seconds of cool visual.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot they did it in Batman, too.
Yeah, and Nolan is usually really smart when it comes to this kind of
Because
stuff.
I know they did in Daredevil, Affleck's Daredevil.
Yeah, well, that's another one, too.
And I feel like there's one other one, too, where they did the symbol with the fire.
I'm surprised they did just do
Outside of Human Torch doing the big 4 in the sky.
Yeah, which, okay, that's different. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so you get the awesome Tintin fight scene.
Yeah.
Kills Tintin. That's one thing, too, that I kind of like is that, like, especially with Tintin, they still kind of played it like maybe he might not win, you know? And then, of course, later on, it's just, he's steamrolling through everybody, and that's kind of the point, right? What I did really enjoy was making the connection between The Crow and another movie in the 90s, and I don't know if you can make this link, but if I say the name Tony Todd, do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Todd. Yes.
The Candyman.
That's right.
Yeah. I know. I was actually, after I watched this, I went, wow, I didn't realize that Winston Zeddemore killed the Candyman.
I was literally looking at him and I'm like, I think that's motherfucking Candyman.
Yeah.
Then I Wikipedia and I went, motherfucker, that's Candyman.
It is Tony Todd.
Seminal horror classic from the 90s.
His name was Grange.
Yes.
Tony Todd. Yeah. Oh, man, such a great cast. But yeah, T-Bird, I didn't even recognize him in John Wick. Like, when you brought that up in the Camcast months ago.
Many months ago.
Many months ago?
Yeah.
I looked back at that scene later. I was like, "Oh my god, it's T-Bird!" It didn't even click with me when I watched it.
He's done a lot of big stuff either. He never really was big.
No.
But yeah, like I said, he's one of those guys where I see him. I don't think Funboy's done much either. Funboy and the guy who plays Skank.
I don't recognize. I don't even recognize the guy who played Tintin and like Anthony.
And I was just thinking the same thing. Tintin might.
Which is strange because they were all good actors. Like they nailed their roles in this.
Yeah, like so good that like even to this day, like I remember almost everything about their characters. Yeah. Like I even remember the part where it's just like Skank is literally like, "No man, you got him. That Skank over there, he did.
He did.
He did. You know." Or what is it? The scene where he's just like. And then I gotta get in there, smoke some road beers, and then I turn around and T-Bird in a car, and it's flying away, and then I chase after T-Bird, and it goes in the sky and explodes. For you, T-Bird, fire it up. He's just like, maybe we should slow this down and play it back in slow motion and maybe make more sense of this. And you're just like, this is fucking hilarious.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
Oh, man.
What else we got here?
We got the score by Grand Rebel. Which I don't think a lot of people really pay attention to because the soundtrack itself is so good. But the score is amazing because he's the one that did all of Eric Draven's music.
Yeah.
The guitar
the
solo
score is
on
amazing.
The rooftop.
Oh,
all the rooftop scenes. The running.
That's one of my favorite things.
The running where it's just running. And what's playing there? Is it The Cure? Is it Cure playing in that spot?
I think it is actually Nine Inch Nails.
I think it is. Yeah, you're right. It's Nine Inch Nails. It's because it's The Cure when he's putting on the makeup for the first time. Right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And that actually, it's even like when you think about soundtracks and stuff, and you think, a lot of times they probably just go, "Oh, this sounds cool here." Yeah. The Cure song, the lyrics actually tie into what he's doing at that point in time, and I thought like that was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they get to the scene where he's running off the rooftops because the cops are chasing him now.
Yeah.
The cops are officially like, we know.
And Ernie Hudson's like going, "Holy shit!" Like the helicopters are coming out.
One of my favorite things about it is that like it's done on a sound set. They invested the money in a sound set, right? And so it's just the top of these buildings. So you have like first thing he does is when he hops down on the initial building is trips. I was like, that's cool. They kept that in, so he's still human, so to speak. And then they show him running and jumping and like even just using like the flagpole to scoot over to another thing. I was like, that's the kind of thing where if they shot that now, it'd all be CGI.
Yeah,
it would be all CGI, and it's sad that that's their go-to now because you look at that and I mean the CGI that they did in this one is terrible.
Yeah, the fire looks very bad. At the very beginning, the buildings are burning. That looks bad. There's a couple shots where the crow looks
when he's healing,
really fake.
When he's healing, it's really bad. But it's so short and quick that it's...
But that's more or less just a situation of how good things look today, for the most part.
Right.
Because back in the 90s, you watched that and you were just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like,
the one thing I did notice was, you're right about the crow. There's like the close-up scenes where the crow's with other people.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's flickering.
Yeah, it's super important. Like, it's just like, there's one part where he's running and it's there, but it's a totally different shade from the whole background and him and everything. So...
Yeah.
Like, you didn't color correct the crow in that shot.
Yeah, nice, guys, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
cinematography, like you brought up, was Darius Wolski. I don't know his name from any other movie after this.
No.
I actually want to look it up and watch some of his other
movies.
So do I,
because
it's shot so beautifully. Like, the running, the way he kept up with that, and the way, like, there were shots in it where, like at the end, where he's fighting Top Dollar on the building top, and they could have just went with a close-up thing like this, but he pulls away, and they're like down in the lower right-hand corner, and he's focusing on all the scenery and stuff instead.
Yeah.
The lightning coming down, and
like and that, like I was saying, like, the cinematography is absolutely incredible, and it's truly like a gothic superhero movie where, like, and I feel like, and the other movies are a testament to this, where they're not gothic movies, they're just dark movies.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Whereas this is a gothic movie. Because this is very much a gothic character. Mm-hmm. This is a character that should be, like, in, like, almost pure black, so to speak, right? Like in that shirt there, where he's just casually sitting there, and he's got, like, his crow costume, so to speak. He's got his
hands crossed.
You know, he's just kind of like, and, like, he doesn't look heroic. And the character itself shouldn't, because this is like, the crow brought this guy back from the dead. Mm-hmm. You know, to right the wrongs that were done to him. This isn't, you know, the only reason why he stuck around longer was because of Sarah. If it wasn't Sarah, he would have been
I think
gone.
he was ready to go.
He was already gone.
And then he heard her screaming.
He was already gone. He was already doing that, like, leaning on the grave scene, you know? And that was it. And had he not heard her, that would have been it. Mm-hmm. But then that's the only part in the sense that he's doing it because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. This was all vengeance driven. This is the only aspect where you're like, okay, yeah, you're a hero in this sense. But then like Top Dollar says, is like, I tell those guys what to do. I call the shots and say, he never knew that. His work would have been unfinished. Exactly. But that's the reason why he was able to do that, where he gives all that pain to him. Yeah. Take it all. If Top Dollar had not have said that, I don't think he would have been able to do it. But then as soon as he does, he goes, okay, all right, there it is. Yeah. 30 hours of pain and torment all in one, just for you. I was like, holy fuck! Like, if that was the kind of penance stare Ghost Rider had in those movies, that would have been crazy. Yeah. You know? Not like this get out of jail free card. This is something like, nobody wants to see the penance stare. So when he did that, and, like, that's another thing, too. So, like, I talked about the eyes in the beginning and they're cooking the eyes later. He takes all that and he realizes that Albrecht was there the entire time. Yeah. Right? Yeah. What did he do that for? He didn't do it for any other reason other than to just have it so that later on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, I was trying to find plot holes to this movie. You know what I mean? There isn't any plot holes. No. There's not any plot holes. The crow got injured, so now he doesn't have as much power as he used to. Or he's not invulnerable like he was. Okay? But they never played it like he was Superman. No. You know? He was stronger than he was, but he wasn't so strong that, like, he's smashing guys' faces in, right? But even just how he kills everyone is... Aside from Skank, they all have, like, a specific death related to what they do. Skank gets thrown out of a building just because, fuck it, it's Skank. Like, he's just like that parasite thing hanging around.
But it's funny, too, like, these guys are total pieces of shit in this movie. I didn't feel anything when Tintin died. I didn't really feel anything when Funboy died. But the way, like, T-Bird was talking and everything in the car when he's about to die, and the way Skank was reacting and everything, like, I almost felt, like, sympathy for these guys.
Skank only because he's so fucked up that he's, like, you could argue that he's just doing whatever they tell him to do. Yeah. T-Bird, no.
T-Bird, no. But the way he was doing that big speech and the way that Graham Revel's score kicks in, it's like this.
Nope. And I disagree with that simply because he starts off by going, hey, man, like, yeah, you killed 2 of my guys. You got some moves. Like, you want to join my crew?
Mm.
You know?
Well, don't get me wrong. I don't feel sympathy for him, but it's like, I almost felt like, I don't know what it is. Like, I was happy to see him fucking blow up and burn.
The shot later too when they like he's all fused to the car and everything. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I like that they do it like they talk about like police corruption, but they don't do it in such a huge, heavy-handed way. They talk about like gang violence, but again, like none of this is heavy-handed. It's just like they're telling a story, but they're using the story to talk about these things that are happening because they're happening all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, but like. And you said it earlier, like the love scene. I think that was another thing that was missing in the comic books is that you didn't really revisit their relationship. It wasn't until later where James O'Barr like fleshed out their relationship. Yeah. And I think he might have even tweaked it so it tied in more to the movie a bit at that point. But like getting those shots where the 2 of them together, their chemistry is so good. Like you feel like they love each other.
Yeah, it's amazing because like their total screen time together is probably less than 5 minutes of the whole movie.
Exactly. But like
feels so real.
Feels like a life lived between the 2 of them. There was the one line in The Apartment I wanted to say because I really liked it because that's where you start to get a glimpse of his sadness. And he goes, everything, like even the small moments were so important to Shelley. I always thought they were just trivial. Mm-hmm. And then he just kind of looks at him and goes, nothing is trivial.
Nothing is trivial.
And you're just like, oh, yeah, no kidding. Right. Like I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine having to see my wife getting, like coming home and finding my wife there, getting beaten up by these guys.
Yeah.
And then like getting shot and thrown out a window. And then having to come back and know that they raped and murdered her.
Knowing that she's gone.
Yeah. Like, I'm back, she's not. Yeah, you better believe I'm gonna kill these fucking guys. I like the Funboy death scene, too. That was actually really good.
Funboy death scene was great.
It was great because, like, it's great for so many reasons, but one of my favorites, that whole scene in general, is because, like, because you got Sarah's mom.
Yeah,
Darla.
Yep.
Huge, crazy tits on her, by the way. I don't normally say shit like that on our camcasts. Yep. I don't normally objectify women. But in this case, to this day, I'm still just like, those things are fucking huge. Like, on her body type, just crazy. But she's another one where I've seen in other things, and she hasn't done too much.
No.
She always kind of plays similar roles, like she was in Unforgiven as one of the whores.
Okay.
If you haven't seen that movie, you should see that movie.
I haven't seen it. I have, but not. I can't remember the last time I watched it.
Man, it's so good. Yeah. So good. I think that's actually the last Western he ever did, too. I think that's it. For Clint Eastwood. I think that's his last one.
I think it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do any after that.
Anyway, so she, plays the mother of Sarah, and she's ripped on heroin, and she's like Funboy's girlfriend, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I remember, like the last couple of times I watched it, I always think, like, I couldn't imagine anyone really wanting to have sex with this guy, because, like, sure, he's probably maybe one of the better looking out of this group of dudes here, but they all look like they're just gross, like they just stink. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't look at them and go, yeah, hanging out with them would be fun. I would look at them and go, like, well, they probably smell, because they probably don't bathe that often.
Oh, God, yeah.
They probably don't. Like, I would say Tintin might be the only one that bathes regularly. He's the only one that looked remotely clean.
Yeah.
But even then, it's hard to say, because he's draped in leather like a weirdo. You know? But, like situations like that, like, I think about these things, like, and I go, like, they probably all just stink of dirt and drugs and cigarettes and whatever, yeah. But, like, a great, what I do think, I'll get to Darla in a second, I love the scene where they're all sitting around and they're taking shots of the bullet.
Of the bullet?
The bullet, and then a shot, and then it's fire it up, and then, like, the bartender's just kind of, or the owner of that bar is just kind of like, Darla, like, tell him to fucking lay off here, like, and she's like, yeah, put your guns away, and then, and she's with Funboy, but anyway, so then they go back to the room, and so now we've got Eric Draven. I also, it seems corny, but I like that he's called Draven, because it's, you know, he does Raven quotes, which I thought was awesome, but like, so he shows up, he's got Tintin's jacket, He's got a guitar, you know, and he's messing with heroin freak fun boy. And he's just like, don't do that to me. You know? And this is after, like, he was looking at the crow and he's like, like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop saying that, you weirdo.
Fun boy. Here, fun boy.
Yeah, you know, and that whole sequence is just so cool. Like, he's just like, so Jesus goes to the innkeeper, gives him 3 nails. Can you put me up for the night? I was like, that's a great joke. It's a great line, you know? And I love how everyone that comes across him, aside from, like, well, once it gets real, but they're all just kind of like, the fuck is up with this weirdo? Like, they're all, like, fucked out of their heads.
Yeah.
They're going, like, this freak show.
Yeah.
This crackhead. I can't remember what Funboy called him. Smearface or something like that. But I remember just being like, that's hilarious that you're doing this. And then slaps the gun so he shoots his own leg. I was like, that's great. Yeah. And the best line in the whole movie, look what you did to my sheets.
As he's bleeding out on his bed.
I mean, sorry, it's the second best line of the movie. The first is the one about the mother being the word of God. Yeah. Like, that, to this day, still cracks me up. I'm like, that is so funny. And I hope that that's one of those things where on a whim, the actor who played Funboy was just like, I just fucking said it, and they thought it was great. I wasn't supposed to say anything. I just ad-libbed that line. They said it was great, and kept it. Because it's such a great line. Because he's fucking whacked out of his mind. Yeah. He's living in a hellhole above the bar, ripped on heroin all day, every day. Of course he'd be concerned about his sheets, you know? Ugh. Oh, God.
Also, I got a guitar scene on the rooftop. Love it. Yep. Yep. This is hands down in my top 10 of favorite movies ever.
Yeah. It's also...
It still is. Like, I'll do my top 10 every few years, and this will escape my mind a little bit.
Yes.
And then every time I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, no.
That's right.
This is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
That's right. I mean, like, even if you didn't know it was a comic book movie, like Tank Girl. Tank Girl came around the same time.
Yeah.
And that's another one, too, where, like, if you didn't know it was a comic book movie, that doesn't change your viewpoint of this movie. This is still an incredible... Like I said, like, from start to finish, it's incredibly written, it's incredibly acted, it's incredibly shot, it's incredibly scored, it's backed by an incredible soundtrack. Everything makes sense in this movie. There's not one part that I feel that is out of place for whatever reason. Even the fact that they had very minimal special effects in this, but they almost all worked for the most part. Except for, like, some things. Yeah, but things...
they're just dated, you know?
They only age so well.
Yeah.
Like, Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs still look fucking fantastic.
Yeah, because they're animatronics, but, I mean, like...
There's animatronics, but there's some CGI in that as well, too.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but you look at the computer screens, and you're just like, oh, that's a 40-year-old movie.
Instantly dated.
Wow, that is incredibly old. I can't get over how... And you're hacking. Oh, you're hacking. Oh, okay. It's not like that movie Hackers. There's a different layout for them, but whatever. Hackers is one of those generational movies.
Oh, God, yeah.
I feel like you either like it, and, like, when you watch it, you either like it and like it for the rest of your life, regardless of how good or bad it is, or you didn't like it and you're never going to.
Yeah.
You know?
I fall into the, didn't really care for it.
I liked it. I don't remember the last time I've seen it, but I remember liking it right away.
But it kind of came out around the same time as Strange Days, and I found a lot of similarities between the two.
Strange Days was great.
Because Strange Days is awesome.
Strange Days is awesome.
James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow, like, that's a good movie.
Yeah. Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
And one other actress. Who's the other
Which
lead?
I can't recall.
The other lead actress.
But that was really good. That was, like, the early 90s was really good for, like, sci-fi.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like Johnny Mnemonic, which apparently not a lot of people thought was a great movie, but I thought it was a phenomenal movie. Plus, I don't know what it was about those sci-fi movies. They just looked really cool. Yeah. You know?
Because, I mean, you had to use practical effects, and practical effects give it a realism that CG doesn't.
Total Recall, same thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I didn't mind the newer one.
I didn't mind the newer one
I
either.
thought it was good.
The only part that really struck me as odd was final battle with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Where it was the same thing with John Wick, where I was just kind of like, how is this believable?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I really enjoyed it. Plus, it didn't feel like it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I like both of them.
I want to watch that again now.
Both of them
Both of them, actually.
even. I mean, the first one I feel is the better of the two, because I also like the ambiguity at the end.
Because the newer one, they don't go to Mars.
No,
there's no Mars in the new one.
No, and
they still have the three-breasted woman though.
Yeah, yeah, but like, and they also it's less ambiguous too.
Yeah.
But then again, we're also like, again, I feel like it's that time period because, like, studios were just like, oh, this script is really, really cool. Maybe change this, maybe change this, maybe change this, and then go from there, right? Mm-hmm. Or largely just go, okay, great. And nowadays, it's literally like, I feel like you've got a script, and then you're in a room with like 40 executives, and they each read that script, and each of these people go, yeah, I like this, 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 I didn't like this, 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 and then the other guy goes, oh yeah, I like this, this, and this, and didn't like this, and then together they'll vote on what they feel is the best version of the script. Then they give you that screenplay with writing all over, and they're like, there you go. And then they hand it back, and then you start filming it, and then somebody goes, wait a minute, I changed my mind. Yeah. And let's just give you this thing, and the next thing you know, you have people going, yeah, we started filming a movie where we didn't have a finished script. Mm-hmm. Don't ask why. I know that makes no sense. Although these days, that's more and more of a thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? And I'm like, yeah, like I look at some of these older movies. Like, I look at The Crow. The Crow, with the budget that it was made with, wouldn't have been made today.
I gotta quickly look at the budget.
Would not have been made today.
I'm gonna change my...
Yeah, that's fine.
My rule here. I want to say that it was probably no more than $20 million back then.
That's what I was thinking.
And that might even be high.
I'm thinking it's probably like a $10 million movie.
Yeah.
And even then, I think it was one of those things where they pushed it to $10 million.
Yeah,
because like they were just kind of like,
It made $50 million altogether, domestic, because they didn't do worldwide box office back then. It was all domestic.
No.
The Crow budget. 15 mil.
Okay, 15.
So made for 15, they made 50, so that's a hell of a profit.
That is a hell of a profit, actually.
Yep.
More than 3 times.
Plus a cult following. Like, imagine how many VHSs and DVDs.
Next to no money in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of trailers.
Yep.
No, 1 trailer. Because there wasn't 14 trailers for every movie.
No, but it didn't really need trailers because by that time it was all over newspapers and everything. Like Brandon Lee died making it.
That's right. That's right.
And
they had their own.
That was their marketing.
That's right. That's right.
And after he died, no studio wanted to touch it. Miramax were the ones that took the risk because no studio wanted it. They're like, no, like this is bad karma if we take this. Yeah. So they took it. They released it, and thank God they did.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad they did too. And like you know how people say, well, you know, like that person would have wanted it that way. Yeah. I actually kind of feel like if you would have bumped into Brandon in heaven and they were like, hey man, how'd you feel about them releasing the movie? He was like, well, I made it to be consumed. Mm-hmm. Like I made it so people could watch it. Yeah. You know. It
was actually his girlfriend and his mother that came on to help finish it.
Ah.
They approved it all.
That's right. That's
right.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, like he would want this done.
Yeah.
This is his legacy.
That's how I would be. Like if I died in the middle of filming one of our 1,000,000th episodes of Geek Pants. Yeah. You know.
I would hire a stunt double.
Yes.
And I would superimpose your face onto it.
Thank you.
The whole time.
I would want that to be done. That's exactly how.
Or hey, who knows? Maybe Nick Cage would come on and finish it for us.
He fucking better. I'm getting sick of this like conjuring of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Basically pleading Nick Cage to show up. I mean, how many times can I do this and just point and hopefully in some random spot that I point, Nicolas Cage shows up?
I'd be honestly be kind of horrified. Like his face just starts to emerge out of the movies and they're all getting pushed off and just
At least at that point he would have showed up instead of just being a horrible, horrible guest. Can he say guest if he's not showing up?
He's not a guest.
You know what? Fuck Nicolas Cage.
He's been invited many times.
Fuck Nicolas Cage. Fuck Nicolas Cage. One more time. Hashtag fuck Nicolas Cage.
Well, now he's coming, and it won't be a very good visit.
At this point, I don't even give a shit.
Mm.
Okay? How many times... You know, if Nicolas Cage invited me to his place, I'd show up.
Would you?
I don't know how long I would stay, because I feel like it would be a weird day.
Yeah. After the plate of cocaine comes out.
Actually, if I get a plate of cocaine, and I'm doing, like, ninja kicks, and then stripping off my jacket, and then a t-shirt, and then throwing my jacket back on, because I got this guy a t-shirt right off my back, then yeah, you know what, I'm not going to turn down that afternoon.
Greatest talk show entrance in history.
Yeah, full on just kicks, like Elvis style, but he's so ripped on coke that it's like, it's less Elvis and more just, what the fuck is he on situation? So, I think I've said all that I want to say about The Crow, and this will be one of those camcasts where we're only doing The Crow. We're not doing City of Angels. We're not doing Salvation. We're sure as hell not doing Wicked Prayer or whatever the fuck it was called.
No, it's 25th anniversary. Like, that's amazing, 25 years. How quick does that shit go? I remember watching that movie with you like it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, and then I remember, like, watching it repeatedly.
The VHS came on my parents' store, we grabbed it, and then once they started selling them in stores, they had that special edition one, where for the first time ever, this is like the earliest I remember, there were special features after the credits.
Yes!
Like DVD style, but you had to wait till after the credits, and they had that last interview with Brandon and all this stuff. I think that's
the interview I was talking about, where he talks about how, like at first I was playing it sort of straight, and then I was kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like, I would be a little crazy here. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd be a little bit out of my mind, and I was like, yeah, you would be!
Such a great interview.
You know?
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years. 25 years, and I will never not watch that movie.
Oh, you know.
Also, speaking of the box covers, that's one of the coolest box covers ever. Where he's walking into the church, and there's that silhouette, like the sun's or the light's hitting him here just enough, and it's just that one shot.
Yeah, and the crow's flying above him.
Yeah, and that's part of the actual logo.
One of the best posters ever.
That is one of the best.
Like, they kind of changed it up now for the Blu-rays and stuff. It looks like this now.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all, actually.
Yeah, that's what it looks like now.
Oh, that's so garbage.
And then
that is absolute garbage, actually. Everything about this is gross.
Oh, and here's I even got the Japanese Blu-ray. Look at that cover art. Yeah. It's better.
I don't even want to say it's like, better. I don't know. I'll let everyone else
That's
decide.
the VHS cover right there.
That's
the special edition one, yeah.
Yeah, that I remember. But, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand why they do that. You had perfect artwork.
That original one, that VHS cover that I have,
yep,
is still, like, the best poster.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, posters are a dying breed now. Especially with months ago when Spider-Man Far From Home had that controversy with all those, like, shit fucking poster after shit poster after shit poster.
Just garbage.
Like, I think about it and I go, like, it's so funny because your brother, the James Livitski, starts off with, like, superimposing his head on, like, Hulk's body type of thing. And then it leads him to being, like, followed by the millions on his Instagram as the Gentleman Bronco. And I look at the stuff he does, and I go, like, this is insane that this is the thought process that he has, right? Because he's an artist.
I know.
Then I look at something as simple as having a poster with Spider-Man and Mysterio, and for some reason, Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Not, like, I mean, I feel like...
Well, like, Iron Man's not around now, so you gotta have Nick Fury on there.
Yeah, but again, that's the same thing. So they had, like, the first batch of posters was, like, with Homecoming, they had Spider-Man, like, on a sign, hanging out with the school jacket on. Those were kind of nice. They were, like,
cool.
fun,
I like the hangout
whimsical.
one. That one was fun.
Yeah. So then they did something similar with the new ones where they had them all in, like, different parts of Europe, which I thought, okay, those are kind of nice. Those are kind of neat. But then they do that weirdo, like, oddly, like, his face looks like he's 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yeah.
They get Nick Fury. They're all, like, superimposed weirdly.
Weird triangles.
Like, it actually looks... It doesn't even look like it's them. It's like a weird CGI vision of them.
It looks like some kind of fan art poster contest.
Yeah.
And that's the winner.
And you've got, like, Spider-Man doing, like, this weird, like, breast ass out pose that they always give the women shit for. I'll give them credit because they finally got a guy doing it.
Yeah.
But this is hard to do.
It's not easy.
And do I look cool?
Would you stand like that in real life for any reason?
No.
If someone was coming up behind you, would you turn your body, or would you just stick your ass out and turn your neck around? Yeah.
Hey!
Oh, hey, it's you!
Oh, hey, don't attack me from behind.
Oh, hey, Nick. Be gentle.
Good thing I got my Chris tingle. But yeah, so posters are dying art now. But
Yeah, it's more like high-end screen prints now, like these poster companies are doing.
Are they? Because, like, the last couple
They're
of
big.
Star Wars posters that I've seen, and the last couple of Marvel posters that I've seen, are all kind of the same.
Oh, yeah. No, those are the actual Hollywood posters.
Oh, okay.
Which is a dying market. People aren't looking at those anymore. But they're going to, like, these actual big art galleries now. Like, there's Bottleneck in New York, Mondo in Texas, and everything.
Okay.
And these guys are doing these special edition posters, $80 to $100 each.
Okay.
Super rare.
Okay.
But
that's different.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, okay.
And you're like, oh, why doesn't the studios just hire these guys to make the posters?
Yeah. Well, because I guess
Simple.
you can get a guy that can do this, point and click and drag
For a
and
quarter of the price.
expand, and then, you gotta, like, Instagram Facetune everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still can't get over how bad they made Tom look. Like, I literally just blinked. Tom Holland. I said his first name like we're buddies. Like Tom. You know my pal Tom Holland?
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy. Tommy Tom. Tom Tom.
Tom. Oh, it's Tommy Tom.
Yeah, Tommy Tom. Tommy Tom. H. Anyway, they make him look so young.
Yeah.
Okay, and for a guy in his mid-20s, he looks pretty young as it is, right? Anyway, so posters, like, that's still one of the coolest.
Yeah, so you go back to posters, like, early 90s posters were awesome.
Yeah,
even shitty movies had great posters.
Because early 90s movies, and even, like, late 90s and early 2000s movies, didn't have 4 to 5 million trailers.
Yeah.
They didn't have a teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser trailer for the trailer that happens seconds before you watch the trailer. Mm-hmm. Then you didn't have trailers 1 through 5. I think that's the minimum is 5 trailers.
For the big ones these days, yeah, usually at least 3 to 4.
At least 3 to 4.
And that's not including the teasers.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking...
Plus all the TV spots.
Yeah, because,
like, show even more clips.
We say this every once in a while, but, like, I think I only remember seeing one trailer for Jurassic Park. And it was the only trailer that they used to sell the movie.
Mm-hmm. That, in my mind, that's all I remember is the one.
You know? Where it's like, they got the black with that Jurassic Park writing, 65 million years ago. Then it's like, boom, you get that.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, that's right. And then it's just like, dinosaurs ruled the earth. And then, I can't remember what, something like, but now they're back or something like that. And then it's like, you get a couple of shots of the dinosaurs, you know, they get the shot of the T-Rex, right? And then it's like Jurassic Park, boom.
Because back in those days, you didn't really have TV spots.
No.
You didn't have internet.
That's what I mean.
So the only time you would see a trailer is if you watched a movie at the theater and that trailer was attached to it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you didn't know anything about the movie until you opened up your Friday newspaper and saw the ad.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
That was the other thing that I loved about going to the movies, and what I still love about going to the movies, but it is different now, is that you had trailers. You didn't have 20 minutes of trailers.
Yeah.
You had 2, I think, maybe 3.
Yeah. You had trailers. You didn't have 20 minutes of car commercials before the trailers.
Yeah, that really bugs
With another 15 minutes of trivia before it.
Yeah, that bugs me too. I used to like it, but now I'm like, I don't care. Mostly because I know all the answers.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm like, I already know all the answers. You can't stump me, so get the fuck out of here.
Like, Ader and I were talking the other day, like, I'm so pissed. Like, we only got one movie theater in Thunder Bay now.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we had 6, 7.
Yeah, no, we went through all previous Camcasts we went through because it was like the whole list was ridiculous.
And like we were saying the other day, we're like, someone really just needs to open a cheapy theater here again that can play the movies that Silver City pulls after 2 weeks, because I got to give,
the next Marvel movie.
Yeah, literally, when Far From Home opened a few months back, it had 12 showtimes, and they pulled 3 movies that were only in there for 2 weeks. It's like, why? You're giving half your theater to one movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because like even like a movie like that, or like any of these big blockbuster movies, could be played in 2 theaters.
Exactly.
You know?
I think there's money. We should open a movie theater here.
Hold on. We gotta wait till this Geek Pants stuff steamrolls, and then...
Get us up there. We'll open a movie theater. Cheap prices.
It only benefits people in Thunder Bay, but still, do that. Help us out here. Help us out here. So I guess at this point I will have to say Happy Devil's Night.
Happy Devil's Night, Chris.
Or Merry Devil's Night? No, Happy Devil's Night.
Merry Devil's Night.
It doesn't work the same.
No.
It doesn't work the same.
We know what does work.
What's that?
Fire it up!
Yeah, that does work. That does work. Let's see if I got this.
Okay.
Fire it up.
Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!
Fire it up!
Oh, are you gonna keep going? I thought at one point that fire it.
Thanks for stopping by. As always, Chris Mercier, Kenneth Livitski. We can be seen on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, and Instagram.
Oh my God!
And if you can't remember that, then you've got issues, because I can remember that. But thanks again for stopping by.
50 episodes.
No, it wasn't that bad.
No.
I fluctuate between nailing it and then not nailing it.
Landing far away.
Would you say Far From Home?
Fire it up.
Fire it up. Boom!
These pancakes are delicious.